Okay. Yeah, yeah. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. You're welcome. Good evening. It's your girl, Olayinka Remo again. Welcome to episode 3 of the new Not a Novice Nurse podcast. Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You are welcome. I just want to do all my check-ins to see that the audio. Can you check if the audio on Instagram is okay for me? Let me check on YouTube. If you're joining, let me know where you're joining from. Are you joining on YouTube? Are you joining on Instagram? Are you watching this? Where you can you hear me? Okay, I think there's a little bit delay on the YouTube there, but that's fine. So we'll continue. Yeah, so welcome to today's episode of New Not a Novice Nurse. My name is Olayinka Aremu. I'm your host and the author of the book New Not a Novice Nurse. As we've been doing today, I'll be talking about something, since sharing my story. Remember that this podcast series is talking about the stories transition story of internationally educated nurses. That means nurses who had relocated from their original, I'll say their original place or country of training to another country. So those are the focus for the book, and also all nurses. There are new graduate nurses that are starting afresh, or matured nurses that are starting afresh. So uh, those are the audience for this book. So, as an internationally educated nurse myself, I've had my own journey. So, in this episode and throughout the series, or in this podcast, I'll be sharing my story, my journey, how I moved from Nigeria to Ireland, the challenges, the pain, the successes, the struggles along the path, and what I've done so far to get to where I am today. At the moment, I'm an assistant professor in nursing. I'm lecturing, and that's a big deal for me. I'm very sure some of you agree with that as well. But how did I get here? What were the hurdles I have to cross? What were the things I have to do? All these and more I poured into the book, New Not a Novice Nurse. The New Not a Novice Nurse book is not just any book, it's a guide, it's like a compass for nurses who wish, or who are planning, or who have already transitioned. When I say transition, they've already relocated or moved to another country where they are currently practicing, and it's different from where they train. We know that healthcare or nursing is global, but of course there are challenges. There are other things that come up that can affect your readiness, your preparedness as well to practice effectively and safely in that country of I'll say residence now. So I started my story in the first episode. This is the third episode. So if you have not listened or watched that episode, please go to the YouTube, and then you can, listen from the beginning. I started with my decision, for wanting to relocate, why I relocated. I'm currently resident in Ireland, and why I chose Ireland, how the journey has been for me, what was it like. So I started all that in the previous episode. We have a guest today, like this episode as well. This series is, giving opportunity for internationally educated nurses to share their stories, to share their struggles as well. And why I'm doing this is because, even trying to write my book, New Not a Novice Nurse, I realized that there's so much that needs to go in there from my experience, and also from the experiences of other nurses who have gone through this path. But there's so, I can't put everything in there. So this story time or the podcast will help us to unravel and to discuss some key things. Honestly, if you did not listen to yesterday's episode, you need to do that. It was very interesting. Even so many things, so many high opener for me myself. Uh it was really interesting. We had a guest from the US, and the first episode, our guest was from the UK. So try as much as possible. I'm looking for international educated nurses, respective of your color. Nigeria, India, Filipino, Zimbabwe, anywhere that you're from, to be part of this so that we can have a global perspective. I don't want it to be just, blacks or Nigerians or Africans only. So you are invited if you are interested to share your story and also have opportunity to be featured in my book, in a chapter of my book, New Not a Novice Nurse. Please send me a DM, or just send a message that you're interested, or send an email to noscochola@gmail.com, and then we can get it all sorted. Just to also let you know that the launch dates for the book has been fixed by God's grace, to be within the week of International Nurses Week. That's May 6th to May 12th. I'm so excited that it's so timely, like that timing. It's perfect. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this as well. But you can pre-order the book before then at 9.95, €9 95 via the website. Just look out for the link as well in the comment there. Or if you don't want to do that, that means after the launch, you can do that, and it's going to be €20 by then. It's an ebook for now, and after launch, we're going to be sharing more details about how to get a paperback. All right. So there are a lot of activities going on at the moment. We have started a 30 days campaign towards the book launch, and of course, we have up to, I think, 75 book launch team members now. So if you're interested to be part of the book launch team, you can also use the link that's provided, or send me a DM and let me know you're interested to join the book launch team. There's so many benefits of you being part of the book launch team. Apart from that, in the book launch team, there are so many other, networking opportunities, so many. So look out for the flyer and look out for the link as well. Now, something else is coming up a week before Nurses Week, which is part of the campaign as well. I'm tagging it Brag About Your Nursing Skill Challenge. So it's a challenge that will be coming up a week before Nurses Week. Because what happens is, as an essential educated nurse, sometimes you're made to feel that you don't know enough, or you are not competent enough, and this kind of rub on our confidence sometimes. So, but just like the book said, you are only new, you are not a novice. We need to brag about your skills. We need to make it loud. So that challenge will be an opportunity for you to celebrate your own brilliance. Yes, you're brilliant, you're intelligent. It will be an opportunity for you to do that. So look out for more details about the Brag About Your Nursing Skill Challenge. There are so many gifts, and we're also looking out for partners and sponsors who would like to join to promote this challenge. You're not doing that for just the nurse, you're also doing it for your organization, because you need to celebrate, the excellence and the brilliance of your nursing team. All right, so that's about that. Before I bring in our guest, I just want to touch on a little bit about one of the things I wrote about in my book. It's on self-advocacy. Now, as an international nurse, just talking a bit about my story myself, I experienced a lot of, racism is systemic, right? Bullying, microaggression, micromanagement, and sometimes I felt like it wa- you know, I was being treated unfairly. And this is not just me. We know a lot of international nurses feels the same way or experience the same as well. But one thing as I would say that has helped me is self-advocacy, the power of self-advocacy. Not everybody has that, resilience or that boldness to confront situations or confront people, or, in a positive way to address this kind of concerns. But I think over time, I was able to learn how to use effective communication to resolve conflicts, to self advocate for myself. Yeah, self advocacy means you advocating for yourself. Now, many a times we are looking for somebody like a messiah. Oh, there's nobody to speak for us. But can you speak for yourself? Can you speak for yourself? So I said there's an example. I will try not to be as specific as possible. So there's a particular time when I was working in a nursing home, and one of the other nurse was I noticed that because I came in as a CNM from outside. So I got a job as a CNM from outside. But I noticed that probably there were some other nurses there who were vying for that position before I was, employed. There was this kind of silent competition, so to say, more like, is she really good enough? But we've been here for a while. And I kind of experienced that resistance. I experienced some, that coldness and all that. And to the extent that, when you do something and then the next thing that you are being reported, you are being, monitored and all that. I felt that. So what I did was I just make sure that I kind of discuss this with the person involved, have an open conversation about this is how I feel. I just want to, clarify what is going on. Not everybody will do that. Yes, not everybody will do that. I was also able to raise this to the management level and say, this is what I've experienced and I would like this to stop, and to tell you it stopped. But I didn't just do that. I didn't do it aggressively. I didn't do it. I made sure that I was communicating clearly. I was documenting clearly, and I brought everybody, to the same page. So those are some of the things that we need to learn to do as a national self advocacy. You won't get a messiah all the time, but before you can self advocate, make sure that you have tidy all your own ends, you have dot all your own i's, and you have crossed all your own t's. It is very important. I share more details about this experience and the strategies to self advocate for yourself in the book New Not a Novice No. So, if you want to learn, I bet that you would get that book. Of course, our guest is here and will not waste time. I guess, are you ready? So I have a guest here. I'm going to introduce her when she come up. So for those on Instagram, you can hear her. You might not be able to see her. So I'm going to bring her up now. Welcome, Lizzie.
Hi.
Hi, hi.
I'm
Okay.
gonna turn on I'm gonna turn on my I'm gonna turn
Video.
on my camera, but I'm just trying to see how I can blur my background because I don't have like the perfect background.
Okay. You go to
Yeah,
if you go to your setting,
yeah. And then
then
I
you
know
can
I just
choose.
did it now and it says virtual background, right?
Yeah, virtual
And
background.
you can blur it. And it says the backdrop color. Would it be green or just blue or something?
No, no, no. You just pick anything
Okay.
and give it a try. Yeah.
I
If you want
see
to
that.
try before I bring you up,
Yeah, I
yeah. Okay, try it. Okay.
what? Let me see. This is so bad.
Do you want to change? Do you want to
I
change?
will change it. Just give me a second.
Okay,
Settings and then
no problem. So we're waiting for a guest there. That's Lizzie. And so Lizzie's coming here to share a story as well of how she has transitioned to a current country of practice, what the challenges are, and what the struggles, the successes, and all that. It's going to be an interesting one. Okay, this is giving us a very dark view,
can
Lizzie.
you see it? Is it too dark?
It's very dark. Yeah.
My ring light a second. I think you should still
Okay.
blow me back again and I'll just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you turn on the ring light, that's fine.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us today. Okay, so thank you for joining. Just while we get all set there, if you have any question, or like I said, if you would like to also come up and feature on this podcast as an internationally educated nurse, please send me a DM or send me a message, or use my email noskuchala@gmail.com, and then you can be part of this. I'm going to be running this podcast up until lunch, so you're welcome. All right, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Are we ready now? Let me see, Lizzie.
How do you like?
Okay, yeah, it's much better. It's much better. Thank
I'm
you.
going to work on my ring light. Just give me a second. It's been a very long time I've been online. So good evening, everyone. I know it's so dark. I actually personally don't like dark screens. Like when I watch videos and I'm like, oh God, this is so dark. Now it's my turn, and it feels very dark as well. So just give me a second. I just look if it will work, and then we could go ahead. Just 1 minute. I just
Can
want to
you hear
see.
me?
Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, but can you hear me too?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so hi, good
Um,
morning. How are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining. I hope you can hear our audience. All right. So I'm using two screen. That's why. So no problem. So we have Lizzie here. Lizzie, can you tell us about yourself? Tell the audience about you. Let's know you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Liz. I am a registered nurse in Ireland. Oh God, my light is stripped off again. Sorry, guys. I don't know. I'm just
That's
trying to
okay.
do this
It's okay.
to
Yeah.
work. So, I'm a registered nurse in Ireland. Currently, I practice in Ireland. I've been practicing here for over a year. Um, I'm a registered nurse in Nigeria as well. So yeah, dual practicing license.
You're registered.
Um, yeah, I'm registered in Nigeria. So what else? What else? What else? I work in an HSC hospital here in Ireland. I trained as a pediatric nurse in Nigeria, and I still do what I love to do here in Ireland. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That's the
Yeah.
first start of it. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yes,
you.
so as you know that this podcast is talking about the experiences of internationally educated nurses. So thank you for, showing interest to share your story. So I just go to the questions. Now I'm going to start this way. Your
Uh-huh.
decision to relocate. What informed your decision to, wanting to or to relocate eventually? Yeah.
So I think I've been wanting to relocate for a very long time. Basically, if I might say, just a second, sorry. I'm just
Mhm.
trying to get my mouse. Sorry, one sec.
That's fine, no problem. Easy peasy.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get my mouse. I don't know where that has gone to. Okay, so I think I've been wanting to relocate as a nurse for quite a long time, but it hasn't, or will I say it wasn't possible because so yeah, I got married along the line, childbearing, and then I just think I actually came up with. I also had like some things I was doing in Nigeria. Like I had a business I was managing as well, like a company. I won't call it a business. I had things that we're doing as a nurse. Um, I have a company called Baby Nurse Africa. If you Google that, you see a little bit about us. So I think that was just kind of the focus at that point. And so I was just contemplating if I was supposed to move out of the country and I just not to deviate from the whole subject of this conversation.
Or
The thing
why?
is, whatever happened in October 20th, 2020 was the spark of everything. And I think we as Nigerians can remember what happened. I think it was 2020. That was 2020 when I had my son. I think we as Nigerians can happen when there was the NSAS movement and all that. And
Okay.
I was just on mat leave and um, things were happening and loads of my colleagues were quite in distress. Like, there was so much bloodshed that day. And I said to myself, no, 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 I can't stay
Mm,
here. It's one thing to work as a nurse to kind of how do I put it? So it's wanting to just work as a nurse, and then you have things that just happen, probably accidents and all that. But I mean, these are lives that were being cut short as a result of trying to do something that was, in quotes, would be right or something. I don't know how to put it now or the best way to say it. But I think that was the spark of everything. I think, sometimes you might want to do a certain thing in life, and then you're very pretty much confused. You're at that phase where you're like, oh, should I or should I not? And then something leads to one thing, and the next thing you just decide to like have a change. So that
Yeah.
for me was everything. That was pretty much of everything. And so I said, no, I can't be here. And I started the move. In fact, my passport was dated the next month, which was November 2020. That's when I
Wow.
had my passport, and I'm like, I just need to get this started. So that was
Mm.
the spark for me. So yes, I wanted to relocate, but um, I think I just needed a push, and that was the push that I needed,
Needed.
because probably if that has never happened or did not happen, I might still remain in Nigeria, still doing my business, still doing things that I still work, still be there, just keep
Mm.
pushing. I'm going to go, I'm going to go, I'm going to go. And maybe 5 years. It's almost 4 years now down the line, and this is where I am. So I think that for me was just the push that I needed, because I knew that irrespective of location, whatever I was going to do, I was going to, succeed. But I
Yeah.
think it was just the push. And
It
so
was,
for
it
me,
was, it
yeah,
was that
I think,
situation at that point in
yeah, it
time.
was more, yeah, for me to make that strong decision, it was more, thinking of other circumstances around it. Yeah. So that's it.
I think I like, when you said that you could have still achieved what you want to achieve even in Nigeria,
Yes.
and that's really that's the key thing. That's something that we need to keep talking about. That most of the time, a lot of people see it as well. They're traveling out, they're relocating because fine, you want something better, but it's not as if you can't get a good life where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I agree.
and for you, it's more like the spark, like you said, was maybe insecurity, and when there is so much conflict in the land, and you feel like it's not a safe place for you to even practice or to
Yeah.
even do what your dreams, and all that. It wasn't a
Yeah.
safe environment, so it was in that quest that you decided to move. So a lot of people relocate for different reasons. So it was good that we established that for yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you. So now,
Thank you.
how long? So just like run us through, or talk us through your journey as an international educated nurse. Since you made that decision and up to when you came, and what was the journey like? What was the transition like for you?
Hmm. The pathway to success begins with a step, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things I always say that is very key for me is it's always not easy trying to make key decisions, especially as regards certain areas of your life. If you're trying to make life-changing decisions, um, trust me, from start to finish. Sometimes I tell myself that I'm going to write a book.
Okay, bring it on.
Because at this point, at some point in this journey, I said to myself, I have seen Shege. Hey God, I in fact I saw Shege. Shege. The thing is sometimes I get overwhelmed when I get this question. Before now, I used to easily answer. When people ask me, "Oh, how did it go? How da 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 da?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, it
Mm.
just went easy. It went this. It was just this." But as I keep progressing, I just realized, man, I cannot even explain. So I
Okay.
think the whole process was just about a 1 year plus journey. Started when I got my decision letter, just getting more information about the country I wanted to go to. So I have always wanted to go to work in Ireland. And now the thing is, information is what gives you like clarity about what you want. So I
Mm.
think for me, I was informed, but not fully patient. Like I wasn't so much informed about some certain things. So I wanted to go to Ireland. And it was recently that I realized that Ireland happens to be, um, well, I say the capital and Dublin is the city. So I didn't know, but I was applying. I was just saying, I want to go to Dublin. I want to go to Dublin. I want to go to Dublin. I
Okay,
want to
okay. The Dublin is the capital.
you
Yeah.
know, that the both of them were all together. And I was
Okay.
like, okay, that's what I wanted to do. And then all of a sudden, I'm saying this because when I came to this country, a few weeks down the line, I went into my email. So I used to have, when we used to have all those emails that you used to
Yeah.
say at y2k.com, those kind of funny emails.
Yeah.
So I used to have those mails. And then I opened the email and I realized that I'd actually be applying to Dublin, even when they didn't even require, 2000 and something. I've been on there, I've been getting informations about it and I never knew. So my own journey just started when I started in 2021 because I got here 2023, early part of the year.
No.
So 2021, I got decision letter and I applied to certain hospital because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to still work as a ped nurse because I'm ped trained in Nigeria. So I was like, I've been working as a ped nurse ever since I graduated as a registered nurse. My first hospital was a ped hospital, and
Okay.
so continued down the line, 13 years experience. It was just still peds. I was like, oh, I mean, I can't. It was difficult switching. So I finally got in and I was interviewed and we started the whole process and I just decided to like polish my CV very well. So another thing is information is power, information is key. If you're trying to relocate to a country of your choice, you need to make certain, you know, how do I put it? So you need to get certain informations. You need to know certain things that would put you on the edge, not necessarily put you down. So I had to arrange my CV properly and I got interviewed. And I think so. The funniest thing is within 10 minutes of submitting my CV, I used to say this thing a lot, like within 10 minutes of so I
Mm.
submitted my CV at 10 um 50 and 11 o'clock on the dot. I got a response from the agent I was recruiting to say, are you ready for an interview next week? I was just screaming like, oh my God, this thing is
Wow.
becoming real. Oh, my
So your
chest, my
CV must
heart.
have been very top notch.
I had to arrange all my experiences very well, even with the
Mm.
trainings I had back in Nigeria, with the hospitals I've worked with. I had to come down to say, okay, what are the things I've done? Because a lot of us go for trainings and sometimes we don't include it in our CVs. So I had to sit down to say, oh my God, I've done this. Oh, I've worked here. Oh, Jesus, I've done, all this little training, customer care services. Because I worked at a very big private hospital, and sometimes for private hospitals, there are nurses that they put as focal point center for patient care. Where you are the one to communicate directly with the patient, not necessarily like you're calling or anything, but
Yeah.
when it comes to patient's complaints and all that, they channel that through you. And
Yeah.
so I've gone for such trainings. I've also done when I actually worked in one of the big hospitals in Nigeria once, like for 2 years. So I had some endoscopy training. I'm like, that's true. I worked in endoscopy. So I had
We,
to put all
we
those
did
things
that
together.
as well.
I'm like, okay, so again, I did some courses in pediatric nutrition as well. I had to
Mm.
align everything together and then I put everything and I'm like, channeled my CV properly. And based on where I've worked, pediatric ER with the outpatient department, channeled everything, NICU. I just had like a broad pediatric experience. So I channeled everything into the CV and then I submitted it. So I think they were quite impressed. And of course, preparing for the interview wasn't easy. So, but of course, I prepared with the way I could, and I got a response in 24 hours. So within 24 hours, I got a response in 48 hours, official response. But in
Yeah.
24 hours, my heart was panting. I'm like, Lord, help me because I just needed them to give me this. I had gone through the whole hospital. I had read everything about it. I even said in my interview that,
Okay.
"Oh, I have actually read about you guys on LinkedIn." They were like, oh, wow, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I'm actually following you guys on LinkedIn for over a year. And I can see that you
Mm.
guys are building a new hospital. And that's a very good one. So I believe that I would fit into, I was just talking, gang, 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 gang.
You were waiting for them.
And then the next thing they were like, oh, okay, 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 we'll get back to you. I hate that word. I'm like, okay, all right, thank you. And then any questions, of course, I asked questions after that. And yeah, so I got in and then I had to message the agent to say, see, I just want to know if I passed or not. Before I
Okay.
get your response, because my heart
Let,
was very,
let, let's just let's just move a little bit. So once you confirm your
yeah,
employment and then the visa, the flight, how long did
everything.
everything take? How long did it take?
So it took basically, so upon confirmation of my job, it took about an extra 6 months, and the 6 months was majorly delays from visa. So getting visa here, delays from, you know, so there's so many things you have to get, just to
Mm-hmm.
come in. You have to get this document, you have to go for tests, you have to do, so I had to
Yeah.
run some tests, and those tests could take 2 weeks. You have to do like your TB screening. They had to send them to US, to South Africa, I mean. So those tests took a lie because they wanted the results before I could come in. So yeah,
Okay.
those
Okay.
those were the things that took my time. And again, the visa. I think at that point there was this bomb threat in the so that's, I think, Irish, the embassy.
Yeah.
So that delayed a lot of us for over 3 weeks thereabout. So I think usually this visa will be like 4 to 6 weeks. So it took almost 2 months.
Okay.
But roughly, I just say it's a year to come in. So
Yeah.
because I got my decision letter in 2022, and in 2023 January, everything was all
Okay.
set. I was here.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. So, what
Yeah.
would you say now when you eventually move to Ireland, right? The challenges that you experience, let me say within the first 6 months or 1 year or even up till now. So, tell us what challenges are you
Ooh.
experiencing?
Oh my God. I'm just going to be brief because there are so much
Please, yeah,
challenges.
you have okay.
The challenges are numerous. I'd say, first of all, coming into a system that is quite different as an international nurse is quite challenging. So, one of the things that I think should come as a reassurance is for you to forgive yourself. I say, like I jokingly say to my friend, have mercy on yourself. Just have mercy and
Mm,
understand that it's quite different. It's not
yeah,
the same. So, another thing is be humble enough to learn and ask questions. It was very challenging for me. Um, Even with the wealth of experience that I had in Nigeria, it's not the same when you come here. Hospitals here have protocols and policies that have been developed, and they keep revising them. So you need to be on your A game to make sure
hmm,
that you're updated, to make sure that you're up to date with the standard and the current trend. So it's not a time to fold your hands and sit back and relax. For me, I had to keep updating myself. At some point, I had to be going for trainings, and so the trainings are linked on the general portal for the HSC nurses. So I
yeah,
had to keep doing such trainings. I had to go for them. Like I was seeking knowledge. Like I was really seeking knowledge because it was so it's a very big place. So within the first 6 months, I had a target for myself that if I need to scale through this probation, are there certain things I need to do? So for every nurse who is coming in to a hospital in this country, the first thing you need to do when you come into this country is to first of all understand that every hospital have policies and
the
procedures.
policy.
So you
Okay.
should dwell on grounding yourself in the policies and the procedures of the hospital, in the standard
Okay.
practices as much as you can. Once you're able to see that, that would have already solved about 80% of your problems. But if you're
Mm,
focused on the way people are looking at you or the way someone said one thing to you, I think you might be drowned.
okay.
So another
So,
thing is,
were you experiencing that? I really want us to talk about the challenges
I'm
and
trying
then
to
we go
divert
to
my attention
the
from that.
solution.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't.
so at some point when I came in, I was it was very difficult. So I'm trying to, as much as possible, mince my words, and I could be very real. So I'm trying to, as much as possible, because this is a very free space.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't really funny when I came in. Things were done differently, no matter the years of experience I had. So at some point I was confused. And so, first of all, I came with the open heart. I was looking forward to work every blessed day.
Mm,
And 3, 4 weeks down the line, I was sulking in my bed. I did not want to go to work. I don't want to work because I didn't want wahala. So I would take my rota and I would look at the names on duty and I'll start crying. And I'm like, God, this is trouble. This
I
is fire.
understand.
Yeah, I mean, it was very challenging. And I could, the truth is, I could understand much more later. You see, this life, you just have to have an open heart, not being one sided, irrespective of if you are the one who is the victim.
Yeah.
So, what I did was, after months later, I realized that the new nurses who were coming in at some point were also frustrating the way I work.
Mm.
And I'm like, oh my God, is this what this person was experiencing when I came in? No wonder
Exactly.
I could understand.
So
So what,
everybody has some
yeah,
stress that they're also going through. Either
yes,
you are
yes.
new or you are the host nurses.
So the person who was coming in, that was her own first time coming in confused and all that. But the difference is that I was able to help this person balance well in the department.
Mm.
I might have gotten some form of help that wasn't 100% so sufficient enough for me to
Mm.
be able to manage myself through some certain period when I came in new. And
Yeah.
that's where you have to come to play as an international nurse coming in. You have to pay the price. So the price would be, what are the things that I need to learn in this department? What are the things that I need to know in this department? It shouldn't be about people trying to see, oh, can they want, you're already looking at the position you want to be. You want to be a CNN, you want to be whatever, that should be
Yeah.
like the last thing on your mind. The thing
Mm.
is, you want to go through your probation. And so I was looking at working towards that. And when I had my probation, it was amazing. It was a fantastic one.
I
You know,
remember that you had a chat with me.
it was a fantastic probation. And I was like, they were like, oh, Liz, you're flying. You're flying. I'm like, no, please tell me if there's anything, if there's any challenge I need to work on. They're like, girl, you need to breathe. I'm like, no, I will breathe. I'm breathing, but I just need to know what I need to do to improve
So that
myself.
feeling of you wanting to kind of prove yourself
Yeah.
over
And I wanted to
to
improve. Yeah.
overwork and over
Yeah.
show yourself.
I come back home. I have, if you come into my house, I have so many printouts of hospital policies and guidelines from the hospital. I just keep printing them. I'm printing asthma today, tomorrow I'm printing gastroenteritis, next tomorrow I'm printing croup, next week I'm printing this, I'm
Just
printing that, I'm printing
soaking up
sepsis,
all the
I'm
knowledge.
printing. I'm just printing and I'm
Yeah.
printing. And sometimes I'm like, are you reading these things? But the truth is that when they get to the house, I flip over them to say, oh, okay, so, oh,
Mm.
okay, we need to do this when we pass an NG. Oh, okay, that's fine. Oh, okay. So, because recently sometimes you're confused, like, okay, sorry, I'm just going to deviate a little bit. Someone is saying, okay, how do we give a bolus to a child? And this is saying, oh, you have to put it this way. One is saying, oh, it's 10 milligrams per kilos. Someone is saying, oh, it's 15. No, it's been, you just need to be updated with the trend, because the truth is, one day when push come to show, like you're the only person, everybody called in sick, and you're the only person in the department, that might just be your avenue for your next level. That might just be the avenue for them to say, this girl is good. That might just be the avenue for them. And again, it's just for you to pray that, Lord, put me in the right path where whenever this is going to happen, they're going to
Yeah.
see it. Like you're going to be recognized, because that happened to me. Everyone, I was still lower down the junior level. I was just new. And then I came to work, and a few persons called in sick, and it was a different manager on shift, and she was new in the department. There was so much crowd. This was during the winter period, crowd everywhere, like, because I work in the ED, and
Yeah.
so I was just walking with the speed of light. And she had to go give the recommendation to say, oh my God, if Liz was not around, this department would have been grounded.
Wow.
And that was, they called me the next day, and they said, this XYZ. They said,
Mm-hmm.
if not for you, X and Y would have happened and
Yeah.
all that. And I was like, oh, you know, I don't like to think about, like, oh God, take the glory. And I'm like, oh
But it
wow.
was a good one because you positioned
Yeah.
yourself,
Yeah.
you were able to exhibit your skills in that environment at that particular
Yeah.
time, and that kind of make you stand out. And yesterday, just to say a little bit, yesterday, the guest that we had was talking about compensating for the deficiencies as internationally educated now. So deficiency in the sense that it's not like we are disabled or anything. It's like,
Mhm.
when you feel that you don't know enough, or you're being treated that way, or maybe just the overwhelmingness of the situation. But if you
Okay.
have the ability to compensate, to do other things that will make you stand out. So I think for you, it was your skill and recognizing the time. Now, particularly because I ran like a mini survey on
Hmm.
international educated nurses, just their stories. There were two key themes that came out. It was cultural, but this cultural shock and language barrier. Would you think that you experienced that in any way, and how was that for you? Just briefly, yeah.
I'll start with language barrier. So language barrier, it depends. I think it's individual difference, right? Um, I basically, I basically could hear everything they said,
Mm-hmm.
basically. So, but it was a little bit of confusion when I started. And so initially when I started, oh my God, I remember vividly the first day I took over. My God, my God, my God.
Did you get everything
Hey,
you said in the handover, or you
I
were just
shouted,
nodding your head
I
like this?
shouted, Jesus. I shouted, Jesus, please help me. I took my pen and they were like, hi, using the EaseBab handover
Mm,
guidelines. Patient A, blah, 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 came into the hospital. Blah, 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 blah. I was just like,
okay.
and I asked, sorry, did you hear? Hey, God. I was like, what's going on here? What's
Mm.
happening? What's going on? Is this how it is? I was totally confused. I couldn't understand
It was
anything.
about the pace, right?
Pace and individual differences. Some
Yeah.
persons, though they are nationalities of the same country, they speak
Mm,
differently because it's
yeah.
just like you're saying someone who is Yoruba and someone who is Hausa. They all have
Mm.
different intonations. So same apply to in the same country, same nationality, but from different parts of the country that sound differently. So I
So, how
had
did you overcome that?
I kept on listening more too. I always ask questions. So
Mm.
I would always ask questions, always ask questions, always. I was always
Knowledge.
asking questions. I was always asking questions all the time. I would say, please,
Yes. Hi.
hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so I would always ask questions and say, please, sorry, 1 second. Someone is trying to join to listen to the live. I'm like, they need the link, so I'm just sending it to them.
You
So
can. I was no. I'll send you. I'll send you the YouTube so they can listen via YouTube. How about that?
oh yeah, I think that's what they're asking for. So I was just trying to
Yeah.
send them the link. So they kept saying, "Oh, I was like, they were like, oh, Liz, you can now always ask questions." So I always ask, "Sorry, what did they say?" And oh my god, because I work in the ED, so acronyms are like acronyms everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere, everywhere. So I was always asking and I was always updating myself. So you hear someone say, "Oh, patient had AEDs, has had her AEDs." So in your head, you're like, defibrillator, cannot. You're talking about anti-epileptic drug. You're lost.
Mm. So
You're
it was
totally
about the
lost.
drugs, the
So
medications
yeah,
as well.
yeah. So you're totally lost and you're asking yourself, oh my God, what's this person saying? I think that was one. Secondly, so that should handle one of you asked two. So that
Yeah.
handles, I think,
Cultural, yeah.
the second one is what?
The cultural
The
barrier, the cultural factors, cultural shock. Was there any culture shock that you
Yeah, there
experienced?
was. Yeah, just a little bit. So here's the thing that helps everybody, and I always say it: keep your mind like this, opened. Keep your
Mm.
mind exposed. Just just leave your mind open. Don't so that you will not be shocked that you now look like they need to use the defibrillator on you. Just keep your mind exposed. Like
Yeah.
be just be ready to
Be
listen and
open.
accept everything. You'll be shocked though. Like honestly, you'll be
Yeah.
shocked. Like, oh my god, like, but you'll be fine. So yes, I had mine. Mine was food. I'm very passionate about food. Anyone who knows me knows I like good food very well.
Like
So food.
African food, be specific.
Oh God. Oh God. Like man, I love food so much. I'm very passionate about food. And especially if I don't eat good food, it's so bad I can cry. Like if I'm very hungry and I don't get to eat good food, you see tears coming. It could ruin my mood. So
Okay.
there are times when I came to work and I wasn't, I was trying to balance myself. I was just new in the country. So
Mm.
I wasn't cooking. I was trying to catch up with the bus time and all that. Those are the things that are also shocking to us. Like, Nigeria, hey, hello, everybody's entering,
You just carry Okada or something.
Or you
Right.
see here, when you come there, like, oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm like, okay, oh, I would be smiling. No, wala. There's so many. I could list so many, meeting different persons. But the thing is,
Yeah.
if you keep your heart open, if you keep an open mind towards embracing people's culture, the diversities that we all have, it's what brings about the uniqueness.
Mm,
So if you're able to, like, I'm not saying that you should, join. I'm just saying keep your mind open,
mind open.
and like, they're like, oh wow, okay, yeah, okay, is this how this is done here? Oh, I didn't know. Like, again, the pronunciation of their names, oh my god, amazing something, very amazing things, you know. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'll just say, hi, my name is Liz, I'm one of the nurses here. Is it okay you just help me pronounce your surname? And they will just chuckle like,
They
we
just
always get
talk
that all
your
the
name.
time. We always get that. Oh my God, your names are so amazing when you pronounce them, but the spellings are spelled in a
Mm,
certain way that you can't even understand. So yeah, I'm like, okay, all right. Is that okay? Is it okay? I re-echo the name. They're like, oh yeah, yeah, sure, sure, sure. And I pronounce it like, oh yeah, you did well. And so over time, I had started pronouncing the name. Sometimes I get to call a patient and I just say it well. The mom will say, yes, you're correct. I'm like, yes, I did it. she's like, she's like, don't worry, Liz. I get that all the time. I get that all the time. I know it's quite difficult. Even we that are Irish, we find it very difficult to pronounce. So I know.
sometimes.
Yes. So again,
Yeah.
the openness brings about you embracing the diversity. Again, don't
Mm,
keep your eyes away from the focus of why you're here. You know, don't let other things distract you, because if you're so engrossed with the fact that things are so different, you're going to go crazy.
yeah. Yeah.
Again, just always understand that if such person is being thrown into your own motherland, they're going to go crazy as well. They're going to say, oh my God, this is so hot. I don't understand. They're going to go black. They're going to burn. You know what I
Mm,
mean? But you come here like, oh, it's so cold. Every time you're complaining, it's so cold. Just understand that you just have to try and blend in. You have to fit. You have to try. See, I know our needs are just, we can't be satisfied as humans, but we
yeah.
can we can try and fit into a system that is, would I say working? Yeah, it's a working system. So you
Mm-hmm.
can try as international nurses from every part of the world that you're coming in, because you're coming into a new place. Learn about what works, learn about the culture, learn about the system, learn about how things are done in such areas that you're coming to, or such land that you're going into. It could be Australia, it could be anywhere. Because if you keep complaining, like they always say, complaint has never solved anything. So
Mm,
yeah.
yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. You are kind of actually touch base with almost all the question. The other thing I was going to ask was about
Yeah.
you given maybe if there are two most important skill that you think an international educated nurse possess in their in their transitional journey, either they are planning to move or they eventually move, what just two most important skills that you think international educated nurse should possess?
Build skills. Build skills while you're home. Invest yourself in building yourself as a nurse.
Mm,
I cannot emphasize on this. The loads of paid trainings that I did while back home, the world is already a global village. So I see no reasons why you want to be laid back. So
mm,
you're coming in as an international nurse. There is an expectation from you. You cannot fall your hand. And even if you want to fall that hand, try as much as possible to resist it. So
not for your
build,
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 yeah,
build
yourself.
skills. You just have to build yourself. You just have to build. You just have to build yourself. Focus on doing that. That's one. Two,
And I suppose that would be true continuous learning, professional
learning,
development.
yeah, continuous learning, professional development courses, go on Coursera. There's so much. In fact, when you just type it on Google, how to become, funny enough, I think there are now online schools to become nurses. I don't know how that works, because I went to the, as a nurse that went to school of nursing. I don't
Well,
know.
well, that's another debate for
That's
another
another,
day. But
exactly. So,
specifically, like
my
I
point
know
is,
even
yeah,
every organization they will have professional development packages that you need
yeah,
to explore as international nurse. These things are available,
So if you're already transitioned, just like I said, like we just need to explore them and make sure that you're taking part. There'll be trainings upon trainings upon training. Sometimes,
Mhm.
the other thing, you're asked to come for training on your off days, and you feel like, oh, it's my off day now, or something like that. Although
Yeah,
it's not so perfect, but if it's paid for
it's
that hours,
doable.
take it. Even outside work, yeah. And then
Yeah.
any other one apart from building
Next
yourself, when it
thing
comes to
is always ask for support or help
asking for
when you need
support.
it. You need
Yeah.
support in every ramification of your life. You need support. Do not hide yourself. Do not run away from whatever you're going to jam issues when you come here. The best of the best has encountered issues. How much more if you're just the very quiet person? So when I mean, I don't want to say best of the best. I mean those that are very vocal. Those are the few like, oh, they worked in 100 places and they're coming here. Like, oh, I've worked in Saudi, I've worked in Kenya, I've worked in this, and then they move to Ireland. They still encounter issues. So
Yeah.
seek support from as much as possible. And lastly, I need to add this one. Hey, God,
Okay.
have a work life balance.
Okay, now work
Have
life
a work
balance is
life
very
balance.
important.
Oh my God, nurses. I know this might not just be only nurses. I don't know if it's only nurses. Just have a work life balance, nurses.
Having a work
Please.
life balance.
Hey, Joe. Let me speak it to Yoruba. Hey, Joe,
That's very,
Biko.
and this is actually, I touched about this as well in the book,
Oh
New
my
Not a
God.
Novice, and all that. Yeah.
You just have to have a balanced life as a nurse. Don't come and take 20 shifts. It's unnecessary. You don't need it. Just sit, breathe. Just breathe. Just do your
Yeah.
normal shift. And you can add maybe two or three. You don't have to, no matter your family problem. Because
Mm-hmm.
this mental health, it's only few persons that can actually still juggle and be fine. But a lot of persons do relapse. Like you
Yeah.
cannot come and kill yourself. Try as much as possible to take rest, intentional rest. Try and
You're
go
right.
out. Try and hang out. Try and meet
Travel.
people. Try and travel. Oh, let them have stamps on your passport. Let people know that aside the fact that you flew into Ireland, you can fly out of Ireland as well. Because I
Yeah.
think that exposure really helped me. In fact, these days, and I think once you start it, you might not want to stop. So I don't have to
Mm-hmm.
expand on that, but I'm just saying, as much as possible, try as much as
Right.
possible just to make sure that you are taking your breaks. Like my
Yeah.
hospital always emphasize because we work in a high risk area, they always say you need to take your breaks. So when I go back to work tomorrow next, they always say, Liz, hi, how you doing? What did you do during your day off? Before I used to say I just slept and I woke
Mm-hmm.
up. They're like, okay, and
But now
then
you
I'm
have,
like, but now I don't slept and woke up. Oh, I took a walk. I, I went to do, I have to look for things to say. I went to the garden. And all those things. I'm like, oh yeah, that's very good. Things that would just ease off your mind. I said, okay, I sat out. You said, did you have conversations with friends? Did you meet new people? I'm like, okay, yes, I did. Because I mean, I now realize that these are the things that would help you. Don't
help.
just bottle up yourself. I think
Very well.
that's
Thank you.
that's
You gave us three instead of two, so that you gave us the bonus. That's very interesting. Thank you so much. It's really been
thank
interesting.
you.
Before we wrap it up, now you were talking about where you were coming in. So I'm going back to the beginning now. If there was a guide, like I said, if there was a guide, or if you had access to a guide or a resource before you eventually relocated, what
Mhm.
specific information would have been most beneficial to you?
Hmm. The guide has to be
Like
very thick.
looking back now, would there be maybe
Um,
something that you feel like, if I had known this before I came, or if I'd been aware of this, maybe there was a guide or there was something, like a compass for you. So what would that be?
I might not be able to say all the things on the spot, but I think basically if there was a book, I put it as a book that I was supposed to buy that would tell me the things that I'm supposed to expect, right? Coming into one, I'm going to buy the book. That's to start with. I want to know
Okay,
what is inside. So I will definitely buy it.
okay,
And what would be what the things that I think I would want to, look out for, or what I would want to see in that book would be the things that will talk about what life is here in terms of coming to work in a different, so it would be books, it would be a book that I believe will be focused more on the work life, right?
Mm.
So I would want to see that there are certain things that I'm supposed to do or know, right?
No.
That would help. I want the book to be very real as much as, so I've read books that if you read them, they sound more like the author is talking to you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love such kind of books. So I would want the book to be very real as much as possible, talking about highlighting stories. Because when people try to highlight their stories about how their experiences have been and how, books that would
Yeah.
include, talk about cultural diversities, things
Mm.
to, cultural shocks, most especially, like things to, because the truth is,
Okay.
to a certain extent, I might have a certain level of information about something, but someone else might not have that. So the
Mm.
ability for me to pass that book to someone else would really help. So
Okay.
for me, I think I, I was to a certain level in my mind, I was prepared.
Prepared.
I had asked questions. So
Mm.
when people act in a certain way, because as a result, also as the training that I've done in terms of patient management and all that, how to manage people's, parents, things to expect based on my specialty. I didn't really have struggle. Okay. So my struggle was quite minimal. I think the struggle more would be working together with colleagues, what to
Mm.
expect.
What to
I
expect?
think
Very well.
people that when you're working with colleagues, what are the things that you are expected to do? What are the things you're expected to
Mm.
say? How are you supposed to resume at work? What are the things that what you oh, there's
Okay,
something
can I bust your bubble? Can I bust your bubble? Now,
yeah,
to let you know that everything you're saying
yeah,
and more is in my book, New Not a Novice Nurse. So
amazing.
take I wanted to take 1 minute or just 30 seconds to tell our listeners, the audience,
Mm-hmm.
reason why they need to buy the book, New Not a Novice Nurse. Please convince them to buy
I
the book.
will. I will.
You have the floor. 1 minute. Yeah, tell them why they have to and what they should be expecting.
So first of all, oh, she's a prof. So buy the book. That's the first conviction you need. She's a prof. She's a prof. She's a prof. You have to buy the book of a professor. I don't know what you're talking about. That's one. Two, she's got so much experience working over the years. I mean, she's worked as I think data flow, right? Patient flow. I always see that
Yeah,
patient flow. I don't miss
yeah.
it. So she definitely has experienced what you would or might experience. So it's just like why we have mentors. They help to cut your journey short. So the mistakes you're supposed to make, you know, halfway is out. So it's very important to get that book as much as you can, no matter the price tag, buy it and maybe buy for someone. Yeah, I think that's majorly it. And we can't wait to see the book. We can't, I think it's out already, right? So we
Oh,
should be
yeah.
able,
To be launched International Nurses Week. Yeah, coming up
yeah, that's in May.
so much. Yeah, May. It's just
Yeah.
around the corner.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah,
That would be very great. It would be great. It would be great to have it, especially for nurses, African nurses. See, there's so much.
yeah.
There's you and I know that there's so much. We need to
There's a
kill
lot.
this
There's a
we
lot
need to
for it.
kill this pretense. We need to kill this pretense. It's just very few nurses that are like,
Thriving.
ready and they move into the workforce and they're pushing it. A lot of things need to be churned out in terms of building personality, building character. See,
Mm.
there's a lot of gap, and that's the truth. There's some things that I hear, and I'm like, oh God, I
How
can't.
do how do we get here? How do we get out of here?
Why
See,
did you say this? Why did you react this way? Why didn't you do it this way? I'm
honestly,
confused as well. So I wish the book would be able to, have all those things in together, which I believe it would, to be
yeah.
able to give expression to people who are kind of confused, who don't know, and people who feel like maybe it's too late for them to relocate. So I think it should be able to also cover like age barriers, because I think some persons feel like, oh, they're too old to relocate. They can't relocate now. They're,
No.
things are,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that's
Thank you
it.
very much. Yes. And like I said, the book has more, and more as we continue in this podcast. So just make sure that you stay tuned and you follow, you subscribe, please subscribe, very important. And I'm going to be talking about each of the chapters of the book as we go along. Remember that this podcast will continue up until launch, right?
Wow.
And then if you are an international educated nurse, either you're India, you're Nigeria, you're Africa, you're white, the most important thing is that you are practicing in a country where you did not train, then this book is for you. Or you are a graduate nurse that you're just starting newly in a new setting, this book is for you. A matured nurse, okay, you've been to other profession and now you are new to nursing, then you need this book. So like Lisa said, it's very important, and there's so many things to cover, and that's why I started this podcast, because it's possible I might not be able to touch everything in the book, because otherwise it's going to be an encyclopedia as big as this, and we don't want that. So at least listening to this podcast and joining this all this conversation will also help. So thank you so much, Liz, for joining us in this
Thank
episode.
you.
Thank you so much, and we'll stay in touch.
I hope I have a selfie for this. Yay.
You
I
get a
need to
selfie. Okay, you get a selfie. No worries. I'll
be
send
shy
you a selfie.
girl.
I'll send you a selfie. No worries.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right. Thank you for having me. Thank you,
Thank
guys. All
you.
right.
All right, guys, we're going to draw the curtain here. We're going to draw the curtain at this point. Thank you for joining us. Please, if you have not subscribed, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Nurse Coach Ola. I have a question there on Instagram. I'm just going to answer. Is Ireland recruiting diploma nurses? Yes. If you are a nurse, you're registered with the Nurse and Midwifery Council of Nigeria, you are eligible to register and practice in Ireland. So all you just have to do is to go through the registration and processes. So you can go to nmbi.ie for more details. And you can also, if you're interested to join my nurse mentorship um, program, that you can find the link in my bio. Is that okay? Thank you for joining. So till next time, look out for this. I'm going to be premiering all the lined up guests as well. So please and please pre-order now. It's still €9.95. Pre-order the book New Not a Novice Nurse. You can get it for somebody as a gift. You can get it for a nurse as a gift, or yourself, or to somebody that you love as in the profession. Thank you so much. I'll see you some other time. Bye for now.